It's holiday season, and that means that many of you will probably be traveling, likely by car, since Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Now, that being said, hi, my name is Ellie. I'm a mom of two and under, and today we're going to be talking about how to survive a car ride with littles, specifically long car rides. A little bit about me. We have to do this pretty regularly because of my younger daughter having her medical issue. We actually have to go about 3.5 to 4 hours away to get her checkups pretty regularly. So let's dive into it. That's better. Much more comfortable. All right. I'm going to mention 2 different kinds of lists to start off this list, and that would be an individual packing list for each person going on your trip. That means one for you, one for your partner, and one for each of your kids. I have tried combining kids lists before and something inevitably gets missed. I've tried combining myself and my husband's lists, and that's a little bit easier to combine because I put my stuff on, he puts his stuff on, but it's basically 2 separate lists. So what we do is we have a whiteboard in our room, and we head each individual and just list everything out. And that way, for like the week prior, we do that so that we are able to put anything on the list that we've used in that week. So just every day we just add more and more things onto the list, and if we haven't used it in that week, we probably won't need it on vacation. We also have a separate list for day of things, and that's things we need to grab the day we are leaving. This has been kind of a lifesaver because we're able to kind of keep in mind the things that we use every night or every morning, and we just keep all of that all together. The next thing I'm going to talk about is we use a little potty, or we used a little potty to potty train our older daughter. Now that our older toddler is potty trained, she still doesn't yet like using sensor potties, so I bring our little potty that we had used to potty train her, which she does not use anymore. We keep that in the car, actually all the time, because of the sensor toilet thing, but specifically on trips, we make sure we bring it so that if we need to pull over on the side of the road so that she can go potty, we can just pull it out of the back and sit it in the seat, like usually my seat, and just have her sit on the potty, and that way she has some privacy and she also is able to not have an accident. And then if there's a sensor potty, we can just do it in the parking lot, same exact thing. No harm, no foul. She's able to feel successful in her potty training, so we don't have to put her in a diaper for these absurdly long car rides. Speaking of absurdly long car rides, make sure everything you need is easily accessible. So I pumped for our older daughter, or both of our daughters actually, I exclusively pumped. And that meant that I needed to make sure like my pump was easily accessible and all of my daughter's milk was accessible, as well as any snacks and toys and like changes of clothes and things like that. Make sure everything is easy to reach for us, since I usually sit in the back with the kids to make sure that they stay entertained and not freaking out. It's either around my feet or it's in the passenger seat so my husband can grab and pass back or grab and eat whatever it is himself. And that's not all the time, but a lot of the time that is what it is. So that was kind of the before you actually go on your road trip and like the preparation stuff. Granted, pretty much everything in here requires preparation, but these are some tips for more during. We're going to start out with making sure that your kids get their wiggles out and all of that jazz, because it's not fun to have a cranky child or toddler that just wants to get out and play. Getting their wiggles out before is ideal, but usually with road trips you start early in the morning, so you need to do it like every time you stop. You need to let them out and allow them to do their thing. So when you stop for gas, stop for potty breaks, stop for, I don't know, snacks if you choose, that is kind of a big thing, is making sure that they are able to give themselves a change of scenery. Leading into that, let's talk about how you need lots of stops. Lots and lots and lots of stops, because you don't ever want to put your kid in a situation where either they have an accident in their car seat if they're potty trained. If they're not potty trained, or you choose to put them in a pull-up while you're traveling, all of those things are fine. You never want to put them in a situation where they're just cranky because they've been sitting in the same spot for 7 hours or something like that, which honestly, there's some debate on if a car seat is even safe for that long. So just make sure that you're stopping a lot and you'll be good to go. Speaking of stopping a lot though, make sure that you change diapers every time. That way, if you have a blowout, you don't have as big of a mess. It's less of a blowout when the diaper is pretty clean and empty when you are having the issue of a different situation. What am I saying? Also, with the diaper changing with every stop, it reduces your chance of diaper rash as well, because when you have stuff tight to the body, it increases the chance of diaper rash. That's why you don't like to have tight clothes, but when they're in a car seat, the buckle is right up there next to it and it's tight down. So if the diaper is wet, then you're going to have problems and you don't want that. Speaking of diaper rash, I do have a video that I will link in the cards over here, and that's all about diaper rash. Also, going from that to this next point, that would be bring extra outfits for all of the children. For the blowouts, of course, but also for anyone who is potty trained, all the kids that are potty trained, accidents do happen. Regardless of if you're stopping a lot, regardless of if you're stopped, you could still have an accident situation like us. A couple times we traveled ago, we stopped at McDonald's for lunch, I think, and we had sent our older daughter, who had been recently potty trained, to go play on the play place, and we noticed partway through she had had an accident. Luckily it was just on her and stuff, like no problems there, but we had to go and find a change of clothes because we hadn't put it in like our night bag, or we hadn't put it in an easily accessible spot, so we had to go find some. And I believe she either had another accident or she had issues on the potty, like she peed on her clothes while she was trying to go potty, and so we had to bring another change of clothes out, and that was really frustrating because she had been doing so good and then all of a sudden she had these accidents. And yeah, but the point is, bring the extra clothes. All right, now let's talk about things to distract your kiddos, your little angels, and we'll go ahead and start with the Snackel Box. It's a little snack box. It's like a tackle box, and it has different compartments for different snacks. And I am not the one that came up with this. That's either how it's marketed, but I have also seen other like mom content creators have mentioned that they use a Snackel Box for park visits, for travel, for all of that stuff. Snackel boxes work great for distracting kids, especially if your kid just loves to eat. I know that's the case for my younger one. She loves to eat. It will make her happy every single time if she's eating. We have not used a Snackel Box for her in particular for travel, just because she didn't have teeth until recently, so I didn't ever really want to give her like just a snack box to just snack on in the car, even though I was sitting right next to her. I just felt like it was a choking hazard with her being reclined back a little bit in her car seat. I just didn't want to do it. But our older daughter, Snackel Boxes have worked fantastic for her to distract her for whenever there needs to be a distraction. The next thing I'll mention with distractions would be a special new toy or item. This can be a couple different things. It can be a rotated out toy that you're planning on rotating back in or whatever. It could also be an actual like legitimate new thing. If your kid likes coloring and drawing, you could do watercolor, or there's this other thing that uses water and color shows up on the special paper, and then when it dries it disappears. I will link that down below. Yeah, you can do that. You can do like a special new aspect of a toy you already have, things like that. So that's a really good thing to do, especially if you don't want to do this next tip, which would be screens. So with screens, if you don't want to worry about Wi-Fi or bad service or hotspots or things like that, you are going to want to download the videos and movies and things that you are wanting your kid to watch, if you want them to watch it, and not have to worry about some stuff. Downloading is the best option, and make sure you check it right before you're leaving in case something's weird or maybe you have to access it from a different place or things like that. Make sure you have it figured out before you go on the trip. Otherwise, you might have problems there too. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any other tips and things that you do. Let's build a community and try to support each other. Now that we've talked about the during stuff, we'll kind of head into the after situation. I guess this is still kind of during, but make sure that you have kind of an overnight bag if you are stopping in different places. So like a hotel or an Airbnb or things like that, make sure that the things that you need for nighttime routines and stuff are in specific bags for overnight trips or for the overnight situation. That's the diapers, the wipes, the pajamas, the blankets, the comfort stuffed animals and things like that. The toothbrushes. For us, since our younger daughter has a specific medical condition, I'll also link a video up here that talks about the medical condition she has. She needs to wear a cranial remodeling helmet, and because of that, we have to bring rubbing alcohol and a soap, whatever shampoo or body wash she's using, both to clean the helmet and to clean her head every night. That is really important. Vicks rub, anything that you typically use at night, bring in your overnight bag. Usually our stuff is in like a carry-on size thing, and then the diaper bag, and then whatever has our electronics, we also bring that in. The last thing I will mention is your baby's sleep routine or sleep schedule. On vacation, you can't really expect that you will be able to keep your same sleep schedule for your baby. And the reason for that is they're in a different situation, they're in a different place. Plus, with the travel, there's a lot of distractions and things like that, so they might not nap at the right time. My point with this is you can go one of two ways. You can either just not stress about it, which would be my recommendation, but at the same time, if your kid really, really needs routine, be okay putting your foot down. But while you're traveling in the car, you might not get a good nap in the car unless you pull over and do kind of a nap time routine. And if that's your case, then you need to schedule that into your travel day. One thing I will mention with all of this is if you expect the worst, you'll be surprised at the best. So if you're expecting the worst situation, you will be able to be happy when that doesn't necessarily happen. You'll either be prepared for it to happen or you'll be happy that it doesn't happen. That's really the best advice you can give for things like this, is just kind of let things roll and kind of go with the flow while fulfilling your kids' needs. I just want to let you know that you are a great parent, especially if you're keeping your kid in consideration while you're traveling. These things are hard on kids. Having things different than normal is hard, but having a loving parent like you will help them so much. Now, that being said, make sure you subscribe, because we are trying to build a community of supportive parents that help each other and uplift each other. We would love to have you there. I would also love if you consider liking this video, especially if you found anything helpful to you. This will be a part 1 of 2, because I felt like car travel and air travel, while there are some overlaps, it's just not the same. And so heading into the holidays, there are people that do both car and air travel, and I thought Thanksgiving time would be a great time for the car travel, and more Christmas time would be great for air travel. And when that video goes live, it will be linked right here. In the meantime, I would love for you to watch this one, which is all about must-haves for making it easier to parent and raise your kids. I will see you in one of these 2 videos.